half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-423-4557. That's 1-800-423-4557. 1-800-423-4557. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available.
First in financial news, this is Business 1110. Now you know which way the market is going. Let's find out how your traffic is flowing. This is Business 1110 traffic.
No huge clog-ups, just not completely back up to speeds on the Katy Freeway. About 30 minutes to get from Greenhouse into downtown. 290, about 35 minutes from Yushki onto the loop. Your slows are going to be seen where you'd expect to, and that's inside of the Beltway. 45 North Freeway, 35 minutes from Rayford Sawdust into town. You're going to have to give up those posted speeds after Parker. 59 East X Freeways, under 10 minutes between the loop and the George R. Brown. Not a whole lot under 10 minutes, but it is under 10 minutes. Slowdown still occurring on 45 the Gulf Freeway after Edgebrook. Just over 30 minutes to get from Berea Boulevard into Scott. 288, 20 minutes in from Highway 6.
The red tags are out for final clearance at Fred Haas Toyota World.
In the Fred Haas Clearance Zone, shop over 300 vehicles with final clearance discounts.
Hurry to Fred Haas Toyota World.
I-45 just north of Beltway 8.
Exclusive TT number approved credit, 877-568-3410 for full details.
You're invited to St. Catherine Drexel Church Bazaar, Sunday, October 16th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus Hall, 22892 Mac Washington Lane in Hempstead. Barbecue dinner served from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Live auction 1 to 6. There's a raffle drawing following the live auction and several games and food booths, plus a silent auction. Come out and support St. Catherine's so they can burn the note. For more information, go to skdcc.com or call 979-826-2275.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips we provide our clients. Complete the financial forms you file with the court as if they're the most important final exam you will ever take. These forms state your property, your debts, your income, and expenses. They become the battlefields where your most important disputes are fought or settled. Property division, maintenance, child support, attorney fees, even custody is impacted. Fortunately, this is an open book exam. You can even get help from your attorney. But let me warn you, whether too busy or too jaded, attorneys often fail to demand or give these forms the attention their clients deserve. So it may be up to you.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Texas attorneys. A partner men can count on. 832-844-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Houston, the Woodlands, St. Louis, and by appointment only in Sugar Land and League City.
Even though I had 12 years of experience as a successful sales professional, I was looking for a more rewarding career where I could make a difference in my clients' lives and in mine.
People change careers midway through life for many reasons.
Put your headphones on.
My headphones are on.
Offers flexibility.
Can you hear? Hey, Quincy, say hi.
Oh,
Say
hi. Time.
We provide the
I know, I
training
hear
and
ya.
support you'll need.
Can you hear me?
Is Tom with you?
No, it's just me and Quincy this morning from Quest IRA.
Houston today.
That's okay, I'm not so
The
bad.
following program does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guys that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877
All right, Jay, hold on. Hot mics. 5,
now
4,
here's your host,
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. 713-785-1817. I've got a special guest in the studio. I've got Quincy Long with Quest IRA.
Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Quincy. We spent the weekend together in Seattle.
It's not like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we were working on our self-directed IRA education and tax returns and all that other stuff. So, a heck of a lot of fun in Seattle. And you guys have an event coming up Friday night.
Friday night.
Woo! October 27th. So if y'all want to go to that, it's here in Houston. It's their biggest event of the year. Go to questira.com and sign up for it.
I'll be there. It's a heck of a lot of fun. And most of the event, you guys tell ghost stories.
Well, not exactly ghost stories. What we do, Jason, is we decided years ago that people learn more from the stories that didn't go right than they do from the stories that did go right. And when my brother Nathan Long, I guess he calls himself the CEO of the company, when he approached me with this, he says, "Why don't we go tell all the bad stories?" I'm like, "What, are you kidding? That's not good marketing."
Yeah.
But guess what? I was wrong and he was right, and it's become a huge and very popular event.
Yeah, we love telling the bad stories, if you will, in real estate, because it is where you learn, right? It's where you've got either, one of the jokes we say is you're either earning or you're learning, and sometimes you're learning. Sometimes you're not earning.
That's right, and sometimes you can earn and learn. Certainly I've had some things that went wrong that then went right.
So let's talk a little bit about some of those scary stories, and I'll start first with one that's happened recently to us, in that we had a private lender reach out to us and say, "Hey, we're having some problems with a borrower," which happens from time to time.
Sure.
And said borrower's not paying. There was some issues with the estate. And they said, "Hey, would y'all be willing to buy the non-performing note?" And we said, "Sure." So we bought a non-performing note. And what a non-performing note is that they've got a note, a debt instrument on a piece of property, and that borrower is no longer paying that, so they're no longer paying their mortgage. And then and they said, well, since they're no longer paying their mortgage, it's not a performing note, so that means that it's not worth as much as if it were performing.
Of course, right.
Right? So we bought it at a discount and went ahead and foreclosed on that borrower.
Excellent plan.
So, yep. One of the things that we talk about in your class that we did this past weekend at the boot camp is, hey, don't wait on these things.
Exactly.
Just tenants, borrowers, the whole shooting match. Just go right to the letter of law, go ahead and start the foreclosure process. So we started the foreclosure process, took it to foreclosure, and we've now taken possession of the asset. And we went ahead and finished a rehab, and we now have the property. I think it's either going to be listed today or tomorrow on the market. So it started out as a scary story, buying a non-performing note and trying to work something out with the borrower. That obviously wasn't going to work. Foreclosing the property, rehab it, and put it back on the market. So that's our most recent scary story. And I know you have a whole bunch, so maybe you could share one with us.
Well, yeah, one of the stories that I always like to tell is I had a hard money loan that I made, 5 or 6 years ago, and I guess it's been 6 or 7 years ago now, and it was, everything was great. I mean, it was mailbox money. They would show up, they were paying 12% interest, and the money would show up every month, but it was 12% interest when interest rates were really far down, and I going like, every time they'd renew the loan, I'm going like, well, you're paying me 12%, it's okay, but don't you want to refinance it? They go like, yeah, we're going to do that, but we got this lawsuit and it's really stupid and we're really kicking their butt, but in the meantime, it's kind of preventing us from doing a traditional refinance. And okay, so we'd renew the loan, and long story short, one time I got a phone call and the guy says, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I just want to know, there's a loan of record, are they really paying that? Is that a real loan?" I go, yeah, they pay every month. He says, well, because I got a judgment of $500,000 against them. And, I'm going to foreclose. I'm like, okay, well, no problem, because obviously if my lien was superior, so I was like, okay, no problem.
Yeah, have at it, man.
So, bottom line is I had a first and a second lien on the property, and the second lien had my mother-in-law and my mother and an ex-employee and all kinds of, and my grandfather had died, and those things had gone through probate, the part of the second lien. So it was a real messy situation, and I had to work really hard to clean it up. And eventually I thought, well, I'm going to help the judgment creditor and my borrower. I'm going to help them out by starting foreclosure, because that way it'll put pressure on them to settle. Well, they would come together, and they each thought the other was the devil incarnate. So they would come together, boom, then they would split apart. And finally they came up with a solution that he would basically give the judgment creditor all the revenue from the property for like 6 years, and I'm going like, okay, no.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work because, one, you guys think that each other is the devil incarnate, and two, if there's profit to be had and you're going to give it all up, it's going to go to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I foreclosed on the property, had $200,000 in the deal. I foreclosed on the property, rented it to the tenant that they had already established for $3,500 a month for 2 years, and then sold it to the tenant with seller financing for $350,000.
So cash flowing and make $150,000. That's not.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound like a bad deal.
Well, but it was scary while I was going through it. Trust me.
Yeah, and I can imagine. Yeah, trying to fit all those pieces together. They're in the middle of this lawsuit. Who's going to do what, and getting all that sorted out. But
there was a lot of sleepless nights on that deal. Trust me.
Yeah, but it's like anything. You're working through it every day, right? Or
exactly. And the point of the story, really, I mean, I could give you details. It would take the whole hour. But the point of the story is, sometimes things go wrong, and you have to be creative, and you have to stick to it, and you have to be creative to come up with solutions. And that's part of the fun of being a real estate investor, honestly, is because, let's face it, what we are is problem solvers.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
it's interesting where I see real estate investors mess up is when something happens and then they stop.
Right.
They're not trying to manage the problem. They just lock up. They go into vapor lock.
Exactly.
And then they just get stuck and like, well, I'm not going to do anything. I guess I'm going to get foreclosed on, or what. And it's like, well, or I'm going to let my tenant, run the show, or I'm going to let my borrower just do whatever. And it's like, no, just truck along day after. It's hard at first when things get really messy, but if you take it piece by piece, bit by bit, day by day, talk to your attorneys, talk to if it's a self-directed IRA issue, hey, how do we work through this thing? What do we need to do? Just slowly, piece by piece, and then eventually you kind of get to the end of it, and it comes to some resolution.
Yeah, and sometimes, like in this case, it was a very good resolution. Now I've still got my money tied up in the deal, but my effective yield on that investment is over 16%. So I'm not really that bummed out about having money tied up at 16%.
But the flip side of that too is that you've now got, of course, obviously you've got a first lien position on an owner finance property.
Right.
Right. So if something does happen, you just go in and foreclose on that asset, foreclose on the borrower, sell that house, either owner finance or sell it traditional sale with real estate agent, all that sort of thing. And then just kind of do it all over again. So.
Oh, exactly. Yes. I would love the properties up in the Woodlands and not too far from where all the new development is happening. And I dare the guy to default, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. You've got to, one of the things, I was actually chatting with some private lenders last night over Facebook. Private lenders and borrowers. There are a whole bunch of folks in this one post, in this one feed.
Oh,
and there was a lot of back and forth on, well, borrowers shouldn't sign personal guarantees.
Oh, well, my position on that, Jason.
Yeah, and I've got the same position. I said, what are you planning on a default? Well, no, we were just taught we shouldn't sign personal guarantees. And I said, that's not true at all. I mean, you ought to sign personal guarantees. It's just part of doing business. In fact, most of your bank lines of credit are going to require personal guarantees. So
or nearly all of them.
Nearly all, yeah, the vast majority of them. So the reality is that you're going to have to sign personal guarantees whether you're working with a lender or a bank. It's just a private lender or a bank. It's just part of how you do business. And then, of course, from the lender's perspective, well, are you planning on defaulting? I mean, if you don't want to sign a guarantee. So.
Well, the other thing is with lenders, certainly with conventional lenders, and you can negotiate with private lenders naturally, but with conventional lenders, there's the biblical version of the golden rule and the lender's version of the golden rule,
yeah.
right? The biblical version being do unto others as you would others do unto you, but the lender's golden rule is if you want to borrow my gold, you have to follow my rules.
Mm-hmm. And the rules are personal guarantee,
right?
First lien position. I mean, it's all those, and the deal obviously has to make sense, right?
Of course.
So, yeah, it was fascinating to me to see this. And I have not checked it this morning, but there were probably 30 or 40 posts in there where it's, Well, some guru told us that we shouldn't sign personal guarantees, and I said, well, how many deals does that guru do? Because they ain't getting any money. I mean, that's just the reality of business and single family real estate.
Well, they're sure not getting it from Quency Long anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Or any of the lenders that we work with, since they're all personally guaranteed as well. So, all right, folks, I'm here with Quency Long of Quest IRA. If you've got IRA questions or you run into some deals that are some problems, give us a call, 713-785-1817. And we'll be right back after the breaks. It's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
The mics are off.
Okay. And we're still live on Facebook.
Are you behind on your taxes? The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, call now for a free case review and a price protection guarantee quote at 800-207-1265. 800-207-1265.
Do you want to learn how to buy 200 houses in less than 3 years? Well, folks, we've done it. This is Jason Bible of Right Path Real Estate. We've got a weekend retreat coming up October 28th, 29th, and 30th here in Houston, Texas at Memorial City Center. We're teaching our students how to find, fund, and market for real estate deals. So if you want to learn how to do 200 houses like we have, come to that event. Go to rightpathrealestate.com or give us a call, 281-888-9555 to sign up for our weekend retreat.
From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston Beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab. We manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 5 years, Fast Track has completed over 500 projects, which has helped us create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Real estate investors, if you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities, and the ability to tap into trillions of dollars for your real estate investing deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening. For more information, call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or visit our website at questira.com.
That's really good.
Attention managers, business owners, and human resources professionals. Do you struggle with positively engaging and developing your team?
All right.
Hi, this is Ron Klinger, host of the Unleashed Radio Hour. For over a decade, I have been coaching and helping leaders just like you. From management and leadership training to individual coaching and support, I can help you address the everyday challenges you face in your business or organization. If you're looking for a partner to your success, call the man who can help you with your plan. You can reach me online at motivationaltransitions.com or by phone at 832-746-9760.
This is Business 1110.
Welcome back. It's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. I'm here with Quency Long of Quest IRA. If you've got questions about self-directed IRAs, you can give us a call at 713-785-1817. Before the break, Quency and I were sharing scary stories in real estate since it is the month of October. And we got one question related to that story from a gentleman named Simon. He says, Quency, what would you do if the other lien was an IRS or a federal lien?
Well, okay. So if it's an IRS lien, it's actually fairly easy to deal with because they say that as long as you notify the IRS at least 25 days before the foreclosure, that the lien will wipe, the mortgage lien or whatever will wipe out the federal tax lien. And so that's the good news. The bad news is if you fail to notify the IRS, you've got a problem because the foreclosure does not affect the tax lien. And I actually had a situation like that where the foreclosing attorney that I had to do the foreclosure work neglected, or at least allegedly neglected, to notify the IRS. So there is a process for removing a lien where you forgot to notify the IRS, but it's very lengthy. It took me 4 to 6 months to get that lien off of there. But eventually I did and sold the property and everything was fine. But once again, it was a scary time because I was like, what do I do now? I felt like the IRS was after my retirement account. And but it worked out. There's a procedure for that. It's expensive, it's time consuming, but you can get it done.
Yeah, so a lot of these things, you'll find that there's multiple ways to solve the problem. And the critical component here is having the right folks on your team to say, all right, we didn't do this. Now, how do we solve this issue? And then working through the problem. Like we had talked about earlier, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is just not doing anything.
That's right.
As it just gets worse and worse and worse. You gotta rip that proverbial Band-Aid off. Now, in this case, it took 4 to 6 months to rip that Band-Aid off. But if you weren't doing anything, you've got all your principal at risk. So you've got to kind of get off the duff, so to speak, and get to it. So, well, one of the things I had heard you talk about, and I hadn't heard this before when we were in Seattle, is that you share your tax returns. And I don't know why they call them tax returns. We all call them tax filings because you and I...
There's no returning to it. Yeah.
You and I ain't getting returns anytime soon, right? So tax filings, and you share that with your kids. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that process and bringing your kids into your business and sharing what you're doing with them when they're this young.
Well, I mean, first of all, my children are 17 and 20, so it's not like they're super young, but the fact is that they get no financial education from the education system, whether that's high school or college. And I'm going like, I don't want my kids to grow up not understanding what taxes and what the federal government is doing to them. You know, they need to understand that, and they need to understand the solutions to at least reduce that tax burden. I'm all about, as I say typically, I don't want you to abuse the law, but you use the law. You use it to your advantage. If there's an advantage that the tax code or whatever gives you, then it's certainly moral and ethical, and it's almost immoral and unethical not to use it, in my opinion on that. So I want my daughters to see when I pay a great deal of money in taxes and explain to them that there are different sources of income that are taxed in different ways. And it's just something important to me because they're not going to get that education from anywhere else.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Not only are they not going to get that education anywhere else, but learning how to manage that liability
exactly
saves them millions and millions of dollars over the course of their lifetime.
I mean, when my daughter's eyes grew big at the amount of taxes I paid, and then there's the opportunity to talk about Roth IRAs and Coverdell's and HSAs and all the things that we do to reduce that. Even then, I was blessed to have a pretty good year last year, but it would have been a lot worse had I not had these types of accounts.
Mm-hmm. And I've also heard you speak before that you've got a significant portion, paying for a significant portion of your daughter's education through the Coverdell account.
Exactly.
So buying houses in that. Actually, maybe you could talk a little about some of the deals that you have done in the Coverdell in order to pay for their school expenses.
Well, I mean, the Coverdell is, of course, a small account, so you have to be a little more aggressive with what you do in the small account, but it's actually a very good account to have for various reasons. But the essence of a Coverdell education savings account is that you put the money in after tax, just like you do in a Roth IRA, you put the money in after tax. But when you draw it out for qualified education expenses, which range from kindergarten all the way through college and up to age 30, then it's tax-free. So Coverdell does you no good unless you work the money, just the same way as a Roth does you no good unless you work the money. And so working the money, we bought real estate itself in partnerships typically. We do a lot of hard money lending out of the Coverdells because, and that's generally short-term lending, so we get a fairly good return on that, and then the money can be drawn out. Now, I haven't started to draw money from her Coverdell because I'm like, I want to make the maximum amount possible before. It's like I said, Jason, we talked about inherited IRAs, and I said, if you're doing it right, you should spend all your tax-free money in your Roth IRA till the day you die and leave them with a pre-tax account that they have to pay taxes on because they didn't deserve it anyway.
That's right.
But in my case, I'm going to do just the opposite. I know that I'm going to hold the Roth to be so powerful that I'm going to want to build it up and not take anything from it until I absolutely have to. So my kids will probably get millions of dollars of tax-free money, undeserved.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
But, that's just part of life.
Yeah, that's part.
It's better than going to the government.
Yeah, it's kind of like I had heard, and we won't get into too much politics on the show, but I had heard somebody say one day, I said, I get that you want to pay a lot of taxes. That means you're making a lot of money to a certain extent. But do you really want to give these folks any more money?
No.
I mean, you really don't.
That's the whole thing about the self-directed IRA world is I teach people not to be a tax donator. I mean, a lot of people want to invest in real estate and stuff like that, but you can do that within the accounts and either stave off the taxes so much later. And a lot of people say that a tax delayed is a tax unpaid, right? Because you're paying it with so much cheaper dollars. But, or eliminate it through the Coverdell or the Roth IRA or the HSA. It just, tax elimination just sounds good to me.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're paying a lot of taxes anyway.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like if I can just it's kind of like getting a little back, right? You pay so much, then you invest in these different accounts, and it's almost like you're getting a little bit back. One of the things I always find fascinating when I was going to school, and I have some older friends of mine whose kids are going to school, and they are killing themselves to pay for college. And I sit back and I look at, well, if you had a Coverdell account when your kids were young, buying a couple little subject to deals in there. I mean, some people, they will save for their child's retirement they'll save for their child's education before they'll save for their retirement. And one thing I've always thought was, well, your kid has, let's say all things being equal, if your kid takes on school debt, they have their entire lifetime to pay that debt off versus you who are foregoing retirement to pay for your kid's education. It's like, well, you don't have that many earning years left. And then when you look at something like the Coverdell accounts where you can buy a couple of houses subject to, for example, that's one of the strategies we look at, or you can do hard money lending out of it. And
or you can buy options.
Yeah, you can buy options. Yeah, you can do all this different stuff that Quest teaches at their events. And you've got to work, obviously got to work the money, right? I mean,
that's right.
You're going to have to work it a little bit, but you're not going to kill yourself trying to pay for college. I mean, it's not getting any cheaper, and to be able to use something like your Coverdell to be able to pay for education is huge.
Yeah, I mean, like I always say, no matter what you're saving for your child's education, it isn't enough.
No, it's not going to be enough.
How did I know? Well, that I would have a daughter that graduated high in her class and decided that she had to go to Southern Methodist University instead of a state school, which I was fully prepared for. But, thankfully I've been blessed to be able to afford to send her there, and she's a good kid and everything, but it's costing me 4 times what I had planned on. But that's okay. I mean, if you can't invest in your kids, what are you going to invest in? But the more I pay with pre-tax dollars, or tax-free dollars rather, the better, right? And I should have, honestly, even in my educated sense, I should have been working the Coverdales a lot harder than I did, because they would have been a lot cheaper to pay a $40,000 bill, with no taxes, rather than with after-tax money. It means I have to make a lot more.
Yeah, take that, whatever the number is for the kid's school for that year, let's say it's $40,000, and then just multiply it by your effective tax rate, and that's how much more you have to make in order to pay that $40,000 bill.
I have to make 60 to pay 40.
Yeah, which is pretty wild when you think about it. I mean, it's an incredible taxes. Deferring those taxes, doing tax-free things is incredibly powerful. We've got a couple of more questions here, but we've hit the break in the show. I'm here with Quency Long of Quest IRA. This is Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Be back right after the break.
Mic's off.
Okay, let's see here.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Join a group of hardworking investors willing to share their knowledge and experience with others. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Discover more at richradio.org. The Realty Investment Club of Houston, the Rich Club, has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Join the Rich Club and become part of the most informed community in Houston. Quickly discover your investment options. Receive the information you need to get started. Learn what it takes to avoid the pitfalls of real estate investment. You have questions? We have answers. If you're considering investments in Houston's real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to join the community and learn how to make money in today's market. Learn more about the education and community at richradio.org. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's RICH radio.org.
You're invited to St. Catherine Drexel Church Bazaar Sunday, October 16th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus Hall, 22892 Mac Washington Lane in Hempstead. Barbecue dinner served from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Live auction 1 to 6. There's a raffle drawing following the live auction and several games and food booths, plus a silent auction. Come out and support St. Catherine's so they can burn the note. For more information, go to skdcc.com or call 979-826-2275.
Tax issues and problems don't start and stop on April 15th. If you run a business, have been audited, have tax debt, or are overwhelmed keeping up with new tax law, call the experts at Taxation Solutions. Taxation Solutions can represent you for tax relief, negotiate settlements with the IRS, improve your business profits, and structure your taxes to the lowest legally allowed levels. Schedule a free consultation today. Call 832-529-2400 or visit taxationsolutions.net.
Join the Taxation Solutions Show Wednesdays at 1 on Business 1110 KTEK.
This is Business 1110.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. I'm here with Quency Long of Quest IRA. They've got a big event coming up, Fright Nights, October 27th. There'll be a couple hundred folks there. They'll be telling scary investment stories, and it's a great place to learn. Really fantastic event. Go to questira.com. They will. You can get signed up there, and we'll see you at the event. I'll be there. It'll be a heck of a lot of fun. So we were talking before the break about Coverdell accounts and showing your tax returns and teaching your kids the business. And I got one question I want to go to before we talk about the rest of that stuff. It's from Tony, and he says, hey, Jason, my question is, can I invest my money from my self-directed 401 on my own rehab and then flip the home?
Well, I think what you're talking about when you say invest in your own rehab, if the question is, can you buy a house, rehab it, or have it rehabbed, and then sell it within your account, the answer is yes. Can you do the rehab? No. You're not supposed to contribute your services or your goods, your materials to your account. Can the IRA or the 401k, if you have a solo 401k, buy a house, have it fixed up, and sell it at a profit? Of course, people do that all the time.
Okay.
I'm not really sure what the nature of the question really was.
Yeah, so Tony, you want to help us out and add some additional details there. So tax returns, now I want to talk a little bit about inherited IRAs. I was at the event, the big event you guys had here in Houston about a month or so ago, and I was chatting with a couple of other investors there, and they were talking about inherited IRAs. So maybe we could talk a little bit about what people think there's a big difference between an IRA and a self-directed IRA. Maybe we talk a little bit about that. And then let's talk about inherited IRAs and what makes an inherited IRA, or when you inherit an IRA as a beneficiary, what makes that a little bit different?
Okay. So, of course, self-directed IRA is not under any different code section. The rules are exactly the same for, Fidelity, Schwab, Quest IRA, or any other. The difference is in what the custodian or administrator is willing to handle from an administrative standpoint. And companies like Quest IRA, really you don't need to know any other but Quest IRA.
Y'all are the only game as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. They're set up to handle the unique challenges of holding alternative investments like real estate, like privately done notes, or like private placements. I just had a really good event happened this week in the private placement arena.
I'll tell you just a quick little note for those listening to the radio. I cannot wait to get into private placements. I think that is such a fun place to invest. So investing in privately held companies.
Exactly. We just closed on 196 acres in Maui.
Have you gone and assessed that deal?
No, I'm definitely going to head there because I feel it's my duty to.
It is. You've got a fiduciary duty to your IRA, right?
So absolutely.
I think it would be. I think it would be unethical if you didn't go.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hopefully the tax man will agree with me too.
That's right.
Write the trip off, right? That's not tax advice, everybody.
That's right. We don't give legal or tax advice. Quest doesn't give legal or tax advice here.
Certainly not.
But as a fiduciary to your IRA, you do want to do a good, thorough due diligence of 200 acres in Maui.
Exactly.
Just my personal opinion. No advice here. Just my personal opinion. It would be a good idea.
But then, so what happens is, then to answer the second part of your question, well, if you don't spend every dollar at your last breath, like I recommend you do, you know, something's going to happen when the IRA, when you die, the IRA's got to go somewhere, and it gets, of course, inherited. And there's different ways you can do it. Most people, when they're talking about inherited IRAs, they're really hoping to talk about inherited Roth IRAs. And if the Roth IRA has been seasoned, which means it is at least 5 tax years since the person who died had a Roth IRA, then the person that inherits it, the beneficiary is what we call the person who inherits it, gets to take draws from that account regardless of their age, tax-free and penalty-free.
So we've got, from your presentation I saw in Seattle this past weekend, you had an example there of where an investor had an IRA that his daughter had inherited, and she was about 3 years old, if I remember, 3 or 4 years old, somewhere around there.
Yes, that's actually Hattie Wofford in Jackson, Mississippi.
And then that at the time, that was kind of one of the youngest folks that inherited an IRA.
Right.
And then it was the younger brother, the younger sister. It was like 10 months old.
Exactly.
That inherited another IRA from, you know, grandma or somebody like that in the family.
Right.
So they can draw on those funds that are in the IRA tax-free, penalty-free for life.
Exactly. And of course, they need their mom and dad's or grandpa's help in investing the money. But just because you have to take distributions from the account doesn't mean you can't continue to invest and grow the account. So they had a small inherited IRA, but they're working the account very hard to grow it into a larger IRA, which will be able to fund their college, their first car, their first house, and whatever, can all be paid for tax-free by inheriting this IRA from the person who unfortunately passed.
So you had mentioned there's that 5-year seasoning requirement. What happens if they open the IRA and they pass away before that 5-year seasoning? What ends up happening to the IRA in that case?
It's a good question. You still have to take required minimum distributions, but out of any Roth IRA, the first thing that comes out is the regular contributions. So you have to eat through those first before you have any issues with that. And so the worst thing that would ever happen is that you grow the account so fast that it goes beyond the regular contributions, and if any conversion contributions have come into the account, the conversion contributions, after which you get into the profit. And if you do get into the profit, you have to take a minimum distribution from the account that's more than the contribution, regular and conversion contributions, then it's taxable to that extent until you get to that 5-year clock. So it's not really that big of a deal. Some people inherit IRAs and they just sit on them until they're seasoned for 5 years. That's not the right answer to me. I'd rather work the account, grow it, because as soon as you hit the year 5 and it's seasoned, then it's tax-free for the rest of the time. So I never advocate leaving money sitting around doing nothing, although that's what a lot of people do.
It's interesting. It's kind of like the discussion we had this weekend where doing certain types of deals, certain types of transactions inside the IRA can trigger a taxable event inside the IRA.
That's right.
And then you get some folks that say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to pay the tax. And it's like, well, you can make $1 million and pay some tax on it, or you can pay 0 taxes and make $0 on it.
That's the quandary we have both inside the account and outside. But of course, just to clarify for the folks that are listening, there's 3 circumstances that an IRA will have its income be taxable, and that's either running a business either directly or indirectly through a non-taxed entity, not to be confused with owning a business that pays its own taxes, renting personal property, or the one that really we were talking about this weekend, which is any property that's debt financed within the account is going to cause the IRA or potentially cause the IRA to owe some taxes. But Jason, you know as well as I do that you can do more money or you could do more deals and therefore have potentially more profits with debt finance property than you can do if you pay cash for everything. So it's all a balancing act. And if you pay cash for real estate in IRAs, there's no taxation on it. So it's an issue only for debt finance property in real estate in self-directed IRAs.
Yeah, and it's some of the things we're talking about this weekend was, debt leverage properties where the lender is another IRA. And so it was interesting. Hey, how do we get this? How do we construct this deal in such a way that not only do we meet all the legal framework, all the legal requirements for using IRAs in an appropriate way, but also do it in a way that provides some tax advantages. In some case, you're going to have to pay some taxes, and
particularly
that's okay.
if you have a small account and you're trying to work it. I mean, you have to do something to build the account up, and sometimes debt finance real estate works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good example when we go back to. When we go back to some of those subject to deals. I mean, the vast majority, since it is sub 2, those deals are debt leverage properties, right?
Course.
They've got a mortgage on them.
Yes.
So there may be a point at which, depending on when you dispose of the asset, when you sell the asset out of the IRA, that you may trigger a taxable event. But at the end of the day, it's, like you said, it's a balancing act. We either make $0 and pay no taxes, or in some cases we pay, because of the leverage, we pay a little bit of taxes, but I mean, we've made money. So, it's a net gain at the end is probably the best way to say it.
Exactly. I'm always a end results kind of guy. I don't really, if I have to pay little taxes to have a better result, I'd rather do that than to make less money with less profit with less money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So that's typically how the inherited IRA stuff works. I would imagine that if people are hearing this for the first time, it's probably mind-blowing. Like, what do you mean we can do this? We can use IRAs to go buy houses and all that other stuff. I highly recommend you go to Quest website, chat with one of their self-directed IRA specialists. They can walk you through how to set up an account, how to do the rollovers, all that other stuff. I will tell you this. I've worked with a number of custodians out there, and we really work very well with Quest. There's not a better one in the country to work with. And a lot of it has to do with the customer service side of y'all's business. A lot of these other custodians are so big, it's so hard to get somebody with a brain on the phone. And the group that you all have are absolutely fantastic.
And we work hard to train them too.
Yeah, I know y'all. I think when y'all's office was closed Monday, y'all were in there doing in-service and training with the staff.
Right.
So it's a really great group. They do events on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can go to their website and check them out. You can attend virtually, you can ask questions there. So when we get back, we're going to talk more with Quency Long of Quest IRA. This is Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Lights off.
All right.
What was the question?
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab. We manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 5 years, Fast Track has completed over 500 projects, which has helped us create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992. Or on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever.
Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497. From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston Beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
It's estimated that 9 out of 10 individual investors fight a losing battle against the big institutions. So what can you do about it? Hi, I'm Mary Beth Motisi, owner of Online Trading Academy here in Houston. Listen to Power Trading Hour to learn how the markets really work and how to think and act like the professionals. Call us at 281-820-8905 to register for our complimentary half-day class. Find out more at HoustonOTA.com and listen to Power Trading Hour, weekdays at 2 p.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Politics is big business. In fact, it's the biggest business of all, and it directly affects every business in this country. Tune into Your Afternoon Drive each weekday at 5, where we discuss news and politics that impact us right here in the Bayou City. Remember the Afternoon Drive with me, Chris Blaney, weekdays at 5, right here on Business 1110 KTEK.
All right, gentlemen, hot mics in 5, 4,
This
3,
is Business
2,
1110.
1.
All right, welcome back. Short segment. I want to go back to Tony's question when he says, hey, can I invest my money for my self-directed IRA on my own rehab and then flip the home? So we're trying to piece this question together because we need a little more information, but we were talking about it during the break, and Quincy had a couple of comments.
Well, I mean, I think the question is, can you use your own IRA to fund a real estate that you are personally doing and then flip the home and pay the IRA back? The answer is no. If that's what you're asking, you cannot do that. As I said, the IRA can buy a property, have it fixed up by somebody who's not disqualified, and then sell it at a profit. But you can't use your own IRA to feed your face right now. You know, as I always put it, use your IRA for your future self and use other people's IRAs for your current needs, for your current investments, which is what you were saying that you do.
Yeah, that's absolutely what we do. So a lot of times what ends up happening is you'll network, and one of my favorite things to say when I say you got to network is the root word is work, meaning you have to work.
that was actually a really good point that you made in Seattle, and I'm going to steal that from you.
That's fine. Yeah, it's the working part in networking. It's not, a lot of these networking events, it's not just grab an adult beverage and treat it like a middle school dance where you're just sitting there in your one little group and talking. You got to get out there and you got to meet with everybody. Yeah. And the reason you got to meet with everybody, because some people are doing deals and some people have money and some people need to lend money, and just it's getting in those groups and putting deals together.
And Jason, it always amazes me that people come to a networking meeting without business cards or anything like that. I'm going like, weren't you here to network?
Yeah.
Those business cards are cheap.
That's right.
You basically got to let everybody know what you do and do it in a very short way, so that everybody there knows, oh, Jason Bible, he's a borrower, and And so, you need to have not only your business card, but you need to have your elevator speech.
Yep.
2 minutes. 2
Yeah,
minutes.
and one of the biggest mistakes I see in networking is the elevator speeches. And somebody actually told me this, and she said, "Well, I do what everybody else does around here." And then I looked at her and said, "So you don't
really?"
And I said, she said this, and I said, "So you don't close any deals?" Oh boy, that turned that conversation around. She's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "A lot of these people don't even do deals, And it's like, so what do you do? Okay, well, I'm a flipper and I do this and I do that. I'm like, oh, there you go. Now we're communicating in such a way we can figure out if we can work with each other. So, and I'll tell you what I do is when I get cards, I did it when I came back from Seattle, and I sat down Monday morning and I just went through and sent everybody emails, said, hey, it was great to meet you. Great to meet you. Just fire them out. It takes 10, 15 minutes. In fact, you can have a VA do it. That's what I'm probably going to start doing.
Exactly.
But, just have them fire those emails out. Hey, here's my contact info. We talked about X, Y, and Z. Give me a call or shoot me an email if you need anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked that people don't do that. I get a few of those emails at every event. I'm thinking, like, why don't I have 150 of these?
1 minute.
Yeah,
1 minute.
It's kind of like the person that goes out and markets for deals, and then they don't want to do it anymore. And you talk to a seller, and the seller says, "Oh, I called these 50 postcards, and like phones are disconnected. No one calls me back." It's the weirdest thing. But in any case, we're at the end of the show. Quency, I want to thank you coming on the show with us and being a sponsor. We've got Fright Night coming up October 27th. We're going to tell scary stories. So go to Quest IRA's website and sign up for the event.
Thanks, Jason. I liked being here, and I'll come back anytime you need me.
Excellent. Perfect. Thanks, Quency. Y'all have a good one. Tom will be on the show tomorrow.
On Business 1110, KTEK.
Mike's off.
Excellent. All right, let me shut this down.
All right, Jay, I'll see you on Friday.
All right, see you then.
All right, bye.